All right, Donald Trump might actually be doing it. He has reportedly been asking advisors if J.D. Vance or his Secretary of State Marco Rubio would fare better at the top of the Republican ticket in 2028, which is indicative of waning confidence in J.D. Vance. He's losing confidence, or more confidence in Marco Rubio, which we know because he has been gushing about Marco Rubio lately. At the same time, Donald Trump has been refusing to endorse J.D. Vance. I made a video speculating about this very subject just a few days back, and I pointed out that Donald Trump has been asked 4 to 5 times if he wants to endorse J.D. Vance, his vice president, the person that he chose, and every single time he has refused to endorse J.D. Vance. He has left the door open, and I said maybe he could be trying to light a fire under J.D. Vance's ass, like, hey, if you don't do a little bit better, I'm going to throw you under the bus. But now it seems like, according to Axios, he is just straight up asking people, J.D. or Marco. Trump is asking advisors about 2028. Let's dig into it. Drop a like, subscribe to the Adam Mockler feed. We will continue to hammer home pro-democracy messages. And let's see what happens. Trump, just a few days ago, was asked if he would endorse J.D. Vance. He said this.
Mr. President, Marco Rubio received really positive reviews in Munich. Is there a scenario in which you would support him at the top of the ticket in 28?
Something I don't have to worry about now. I've got 3 years to go. So it's something I don't have to worry. JD's fantastic and Marco's, they're both fantastic. I think Marco did a great job in Munich.
He spent more time mentioning Marco and Marco's speech in Munich than he did saying anything nice or friendly about J.D. Vance, and this is a repeated pattern with Donald Trump. I mean, check out this video that went viral a few days back of Donald Trump praising Marco Rubio, even saying that he would he wanted to fire Rubio because he did so well. Think about this.
Marco does it with a velvet glove, but it's a kill, right? The result is the same. They do it very differently. And Marco, you really did yourself proud 2 days ago in Munich. In fact, so proud that I almost terminated his employ because they were saying, why can't Trump do this? I do, but I say it differently. But Marco, don't do any better than you did, please. Because if you do, you're out of here. But no, I want my guys to do great. And the acclaim he's gotten and the acclaim JD gets is great.
The funny thing is, what I want to remind you is Marco Rubio was one of the people to stick it to Donald Trump in the primaries like a decade ago.
Builds the wall the way he built Trump Towers, he'll be using illegal immigrant labor to do it. The second...
So cute. Such a cute soundbite.
But no, it's not a soundbite. It's a fact. Yeah, again, go online and Google it. Donald Trump, Polish workers. You'll see it. The second thing about the trade war, I don't understand because your ties and the clothes you make is made in Mexico and in China. So you're going to be starting a trade war against your own ties and your own suits. All right.
Marco Rubio was actually cooking him in the Republican primaries about a decade ago, but now he has sold his soul. He has sold his soul out and is a hardcore MAGA dude who will do anything Donald Trump asks him. And I guess it's paying off because Trump seems to be giving more favor to Marco Rubio than J.D. Vance. Maybe, just maybe, it's because J.D. Vance is one of the least charismatic people possible. Check out this clip of J.D. Vance talking about sex offenders just a few days ago. I mean, he's talking about sex offenders in such a way where he throws almost his own president under the bus.
It's really not that hard, and it's a huge indictment of Jacob Fry and, frankly, the entire far left that they made that their cause of the day, letting violent sex offenders stay on the streets of America. The president's just not going to go for that.
Well, the irony doesn't end there, unfortunately, for the Democrats. They've now...
Yeah, the irony doesn't end there for you. There's a sex offender in the White House. J.D. Vance, a few days ago, absolutely bombed, while giving a speech at the Board of Peace in front of, Viktor Orban and a bunch of awful people.
Thank you, Mr. President, very much for your leadership, but also for the kind words about me personally. I knew exactly what I wanted to say, but then after the president said that I was so smart and that I didn't want to repeat our congresswoman who froze for 20 seconds over in Munich, now I'm tempted, sir, just to freeze for 20 seconds and just stare at the cameras, and maybe they'll say nice things about me like they do about Congresswoman Cortez. But
that joke did not land, not a single laugh. And AOC even quote tweeted that later and said, the only thing that was longer than my pause was the awkward silence when J.D. Vance made this joke. This got 4.2 million views. He has no riz whatsoever. This is why Trump is privately quizzing people if they think Vance or Rubio would be better at the top of the ticket. Nikki on Twitter says, I get the vibe that Trump favors Rubio over Vance. President Trump has a new parlor game he's springing on advisors and confidants. J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. That is, do people favor the vice president or secretary of state to sit atop the GOP ticket and succeed him in 2028? Trump asks casually. But increasingly, several sources tell us, Trump is focused on his legacy as his last midterm elections approach, and he believes there are no better standard bearers for it than Vance and Rubio. Trump favors Vance, that's why he chose him as a VP, but Trump has notably and increasingly praised Rubio in public and in private for his rising profile as Secretary of State. Trump enjoys gossiping, revels in playing people off one another, and freely airs private musings. All 5 sources who spoke with Axios and relayed Trump's discussions with them cautioned against interpreting this as Trump souring on Vance. Vance Rubio is his dream ticket. If Vance runs for president, he's going to be our nominee. But I really view Trump as somebody who plays politics in like an unorthodox way. Obviously, he's always posting racist memes of our former presidents. He's always defecting and being an absolute asshole. So I could see him totally favoring Marco Rubio over J.D. Vance because he thinks that he'll have more, I don't know, ideological control. He thinks that J.D. Vance might be too groomed by people like Peter Thiel, who are trying to create a surveillance state for the United States. Quite literally, Peter Thiel, a decade ago, was investing in J.D. Vance and helped J.D. Vance, become who he is by investing in his Senate campaign, giving him meetings, giving him connections. He wants J.D. Vance to be the president in 2028, and Peter Thiel will stop at nothing to have that happen, which is a scary thought because then they want to turn this into a sort of tech oligarchy that we've only had a taste of with Elon Musk's 120 days in the White House. I promise you, the tech oligarchy that would come if J.D. Vance gets into office would be awful. Marco Rubio, of course, would likely revert back to some old neocon ways, but at least his old neocon ways were slightly pro-America.
Why don't you make them in America?
Their currencies.
No.
They devalue their currencies.
Well, then make them in America.
That makes it impossible. Well, you don't know anything about business. You lose
Well,
on
make them in
everything you do.
America.
You don't know anything about it because you're a lousy
Well, I don't know
businessman.
anything about bankrupting 4 companies.
No,
You
I
bankrupted
know,
4
you know what?
companies.
You know what?
I don't know anything about
You know what?
starting a
That's
university.
called
That was a fake university.
First of all,
I mean, there is a theory that Trump likes fighters. He probably thinks that Marco Rubio is more of a fighter than J.D. Vance, but either way, both of them would be despicable. Any Democrat that we could put up on our Democratic stage would be better than both J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio. Every single Democrat is meaningfully better. I say this a lot, but the difference between growing up in Indiana, where I grew up, is that if you tell a counselor that you're having transgender thoughts or you want to change your name, they have to go tell your parents. But if you grow up one state over in Illinois rather than Indiana, if you grow up in Illinois under J.B. Pritzker, then it's a sanctuary state. There's insurance that covers gender-affirming care when you're of age. It's very common sense and helpful and creates a safe, productive society where we can actually add to this country. That's why blue states are what we call donor states. We make so much money that we give it to red states. So J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio are much, much, much worse than any Democrat we could put up. We just need to make sure we put someone up that is exciting, has a forward-looking message, and can beat this ticket, because it looks like this is going to be the ticket, whether or not it's Marco and Vance or Vance and Marco. I love you all. I will see you all in the next video, and peace out.